These three are the essential tools in Lightroom to not only fix your photos but add little effects to enhance your images. Watch the full video on how these work in detail. Here's one image of a structure of Petra, Jordan, where I would like to get more details by sharpening it. Opening Edit and going down to the Detail menu. The three options here, Sharpening, Noise and Color Noise, which we will go through. In Sharpening, adding just a little bit of amount gives you more options, radius, detail and masking. Increasing amount, which basically sharpens the overall image. This works on individual pixels. You can see the before and after. Increasing radius starts affecting the nearby pixels and so on. The detail slider boosts the final details in the picture. It focuses on highlighting the edges it finds in the picture, like the patterns in this image. Masking slider determines the area of the image that sharpening affects. At 0, it sharpens all pixels, the whole image equally. As you increase it, the sharpening will target smaller, more distinct areas. There is a way to visualize the pixels affected. You just need to use 2 fingers to slide on masking slider. Now you can see the white parts on which the sharpening effect will be applied. So whatever changes you make in all the sliders above, it affects only the white pixels tuned in the masking slider. Need to be careful while increasing the sharpening as it adds noise to the image unless you want grainy look for artistic purposes. I have a picture of this bird, but when you zoom in, you can notice noise in the image. Now moving to the noise options. You can just use the noise reduction slider to reduce the grainy look of the image and increase smoothness. Need to balance this with the other sliders below to get a good result. Detail increases the contrast of the pixels which have turned smooth because of the noise removal. Contrast slider makes the big shapes and color differences more noticeable. This makes the larger elements stand out. On this image, if you zoom in on the portrait, you can notice the color noise. This time we will be using the color noise options. Here you can notice moving the color noise reduction slider to the right makes the noise monochromatic, basically removes the color. The thing to remember here is more you move this slider, the more grayish the pixels turn, and this reduces the overall saturation. Detail preserves the colors in small groups of pixels. Reducing it will make the colors blend more. Need to be careful while tuning to maintain the balance of the image. Smoothness slider smooths out the colors by making the similar colors larger, basically makes similar color patches blend. Again, need to be careful as if gone too far, some colors might disappear and become neutral. Also going to Luminance noise options to remove and make the grain more manageable. An image of bird with lot of color noise, probably because of the higher ISO it was shot with. Removing color noise. Adding detail and smoothing the grains a bit. You can also go to Luminance options to completely reduce the grainy look. But this also makes the image lose details. Though this may not be the best option here, you can go to sharpening sliders and tune the masking slider to select only certain parts of the bird where the sharpening will be applied, so that the sharpening won't bring back the noise on the other parts of the image. After opening the image in Lightroom app, you can see the main menu here. In the middle is the edit menu, and here you can get the new blur tool. Here you have the slider for blur amount, 5 types of bokeh effects below, change the focus type, and also the mask view to visualize depth. To add blur, just slide the blur amount slider a little and this will connect to the cloud. It will visualize the depth of field using AI, sets focus and gives you the result. Now you can tune the amount of blur you need. Click this icon to visualize the depth. The whitish areas are more focused and the darker you go, the more blur it becomes. Here you can change the mode of focus from subject, which it is now, to point, where you can manually adjust the focus. Just move the pointer where you need to focus and it will change the depth of field accordingly. Here is a better visual representation with mask switched on. Here you can change the bokeh style. The 5 styles as described by Adobe themselves. You can play with this and choose which is better for you. Another example, this time on this flower. The AI detection works well here too, so after increasing blur, this is the maximum blur you can reach. If you want more blur, you need to save this image and import the saved image. Apply the blur for more blur. You can add tilt shift lens effect too. This works better on images with a higher point of view. We'll reduce the exposure a bit first, then add blur to this. We'll change to point focus and move the focus point somewhere here to get this tilt shift effect or the miniature looking effect. The before and after. For this image, I want to remove the 2 persons. You could try remove or heal, but the results may vary considering there are a lot of different things going on around those 2. You can control this using clone tool. Here with the clone option enabled, resizing the brush. The smaller brush size would be better if you want to clone smaller details. Instead of brushing on the whole person, it is better to brush on the part from where we can take similar samples. The app has this automated feature of selecting a sample area for cloning, which works sometimes. This is just basically copying a part of the image from one area and pasting it to a selected area. You can move the sample to the relevant part. For smaller details like this, smaller brush is suggested for smaller samples. Tap Done after finishing each sample, then move to the next one. Sometimes it takes samples randomly. Just move the sample area which is best suited. You can change the feather to and opacity of the selected areas. Fast forwarding, as this may take a bit of time to finish. Got a pretty good result all things considered. Subscribe for more of these tips and tricks. Thanks for watching.